Yeah. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Broke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the DEX, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, chin. Yeah, send it to the deck. Yeah, sell it through the spec. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy on the channel covering the entire crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the OnChain Hour, and today's show is going to be amazing, guys, because we know exactly why the market is getting beat down. We know exactly why we had a flash crash yesterday, and we're going to be breaking that down and explaining that to you guys. There is a, on-chain Perps DEX battle right now between Hyperliquid and Aster, but maybe we can find some other ones that can potentially come into the limelight a little bit because of the hype of these two beasts. We're going to cover that as well. A lot of things happening. Obviously, Bitcoin is sitting around 113. We're at about 116 yesterday, which was weird. Why we're down. Flash crash last night. Everything dumped. You got stuff like WillFi down 13%. I mean, all across my board. Tau down 6%. Sui, Sonic is back down to bear market lows when it was called Phantom, right? It is getting really bad out there now, but is this the calm before the storm? This could really be it, right? Or this is the storm. I don't even know what to call it anymore, guys. I'm out of analogies. I just want the number to go up. I want numbers to go up. And I do think that right now what is happening is retail is selling while whales are buying. You're seeing again today, Michael Saylor buying. Tom Lee buying, Metaplanet buying. Who's selling? Well, it's retail. It's the people who are getting liquidated on their longs. It's not the smart people that are getting rid of their Bitcoin or their Ethereum and stuff like that right now. So we're gonna get into that as well. But without further ado, let's get the show started. Bring my partner here as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, man? How you feeling today? How was your weekend? What's going on with you?
Yeah, look, for the first time in a while, I feel a little bit spun around in terms of where Bitcoin and Ethereum should be heading. But, it does seem to be one of those Septembers that are more typical, right? And man, it's really hard for me not to want or not to feel bullish at least to finish the month heading into October. But it's been hard. I'll say that, especially yesterday. The past two Sundays have been really hard to get a good pulse on where price action is heading. But it does remind me to not get lost in the short-term price action, right? when you zoom out, that's where I think most people that pay attention on a day-to-day know where we're going to be, for the most part in the next 2 months, 3 months, right? But I will say, though, it has been a little bit tough in terms of trying to, because your indicators aren't really working together right now, and that's one of the things. Whenever you rely on those kind of, those basic indicators, you combine 2-3 of them together, and they usually are pretty solid for you. They're not really working. So some of the price action isn't really making a ton of sense, right? But what that's not going to distract me from keeping my focus, because remember, this is not about short-term price action. This is a long-term game. In my opinion, we're going through some rough patches of infrastructure build out for a new financial system. So I feel okay. I feel like it's a good opportunity to learn about what's happening. The transparency in terms of liquidation levels with hyperliquid, Aster coming in saying, hey, look, maybe we don't need such transparent type of liquidation levels, but how do you get rid of that? And I think we have some possible answers for that.
Yeah, 100%. And the worst thing about this crash yesterday is it's really being caused by a few different things. Trump coming out with this new demand for 100K for every for basically work visas, right? We're gonna get into that later too. But like the TradFi I'm looking at right now, like the Dow Jones is flat on the day. The ES, which is the S&P, is up 0.1, and the Nasdaq is up 0.2, while gold reached another all-time high today. And yet Bitcoin is down 2%, Ethereum's down 6%, for the XRP's under. Like, why do you think we're getting TradFi news, but crypto like getting destroyed, but TradFi's doing fine?
I mean, there's a couple things, right? You have what you mentioned with the H-1B visas that could scare some people, but your point that TradFi isn't getting belted as much as digital assets, right? The other thing too is that China came out and told some of these brokerages in Asia, Hong Kong more specifically, to hold off on the tokenization of RWAs. So I think that made a lot of people kind of raise their eyebrow a little bit and say, that's weird. Why would you do that? Because it seems like they want to have more control again, right, over the flow of price action. Number one, they've done stuff like this in the past, but it's been more of like making mining illegal in China, or saying you can't, all digital assets are illegal back in 2017 or 2020, and so this is kind of their way of doing that, saying, hey, hold on, don't try to get ahead of yourself, like we're still in control. And that's one thing that they've always maintained. Like they want to kind of flex their muscle from time to time to say, hey, private sectors or foreign institutions, no, we're gonna pump the brakes here a bit. And I think that could have something to do with the sell-off today, scaring some people in the East.
Yeah. I don't know. Why would you sell your Bitcoin and Ethereum because you're worried about RWAs? It just doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
Well, it's more of like regulatory control again, right? So China coming in trying to scare the markets.
Yeah, but they just banned crypto like last week, right? So it's one of those things where it kind of just seems to be a non-factor in crypto right now. I mean,
people got excited about Hong Kong's stablecoin, boom that they've been jumping on, right? RWAs are going to be very closely connected to that market.
Well, I think Asia in general, like not China, but I think what's happening right now with the Korean blockchain week. I mean, there's a bull market happening for Asian tokens right now, and they're all going crazy, right? Whether it's Tron, Merlin, BNB, and then you have Aster, which we're about to cover in depth. But like, I just feel like China's a non-factor, but Asia is booming right now.
But the problem is Hong Kong has China. A lot of the brokerages, it has a lot of the treasury companies, and I don't like it, but like China does have that control over Hong Kong because it's their, it's under Chinese rule, right? So because of that, that's where I think maybe the shakeup could be. But you're right in terms of the energy from the Korean centralized exchanges and some of these Singaporean projects like Merlin that have good relationships with Western entities like Kraken and stuff like that. I think they're the ones that are really kind of thriving with like hyperliquid based out of Singapore again, right? But Hong Kong is trying to build back that strength of the financial hub. Singapore had took that over for a while, and they're still strong. So maybe the
Yeah.
focus shouldn't be so much on Hong Kong, and should be the greater Asia regions.
Yeah, 100%. Let's jump into some quick housekeeping, guys. Remember, if you add to some screen, if you have an Ordinal Revolution pass, make sure you guys stake that. You'll have 2 days and 19 hours left. Time is running out. You have basically until Wednesday or Thursday to make sure that your pass is locked up. 26 passes, which means every person right now is getting about 1.2 million TK tokens. So if you're interested in getting that for free, because you get your pass back and staking it, and then probably next week, I'm going to reach out to Raul when this is closed, and we're going to get another TK staking up probably October 1st. I'm going to ask them to get it up by October 1st, and then we'll do the same exact one as you see here. So if you have some Trench Kitty, or if you don't, if you have an OnChain Revolution pass, you can stake it if you would like to do that. So definitely interested in doing that. All right, let's kind of get into our main title today, which is ASTER the Bullrun play. Perps DEX wars, crypto pullback shock, and haze on U.S. stablecoins. So the first part of that is obviously what Hyperliquid built, right? I know Aster could be a bull play, but let's talk about Hyperliquid for a second. Hyperliquid is is an app chain. It's something you have to bridge to Arbitrum and then bridge on to the chain there. It is the #1 option right now for all traders to trade perps. It has more liquidity than most exchanges besides the top 3, and it is something that has been on a rampage, right?
Yeah, I mean, Hyperliquid has really taken over the perps space in terms of that main golden child in the spotlight, right? And they did it in multiple ways. First, kind of building up the community, and then also building up volume, but then basically going into their fee revenue, and then doing buybacks. So the airdrop before the buybacks was a part of this as well. So it's almost kind of like there's a playbook here to where you build a solid product, you build a community up, you say, hey, we're giving back to you with an airdrop. The airdrop happens, the price doesn't dump because they're buying back with fees that they use. And so now you have that loyalty and base, and now you just need to enhance the product, which they did. They added more and more assets available to be able to trade, till they got to a point to where, like you mentioned, a very large percentage of on-chain traders were using Hyperliquid, right? Or is. Now you got some competition trying to come up, but we'll see how much they can actually compete with them.
Yeah. And just pay attention to this number. This will come important later. So there's 999 million tokens, a billion tokens in max. And there's only 270 million in circulation, which means there's about less than a third of the actual token circulating. So that means, there's a ton more tokens to come out, but we're gonna get into that in a second. Let's cover the #1, bet right now that everyone's kind of talking about, and it is Aster. Aster is a Hyperliquid basically copy. It's basically the same exact thing. I'm having trouble trying to find. I was looking before the show. I was trying to find the differences in them, and I'm not really seeing much difference. The only difference that I see is that it is backed by CZ. CZ is formerly the CEO of Binance, which people know that he has strong ties with Binance. CZ has mentioned 3 tickers on his X account through his entire time, which BTC, BNB, and now ASTER, right? So these are the 3 tickers he's only ever talked about. He is somebody that people are talking about that he owns potentially 60 to 70% of this Aster supply, and potentially could burn it one day, but that's just kind of the rumor. Nothing about that is true. But Aster, take a look at this 24-hour volume, 1.7 million. Let's take a look at Hype, 24-hour volume, 880 million. So pretty nuts there. You are seeing strong thing. TVL 1.1 for Aster, TVL for Hyperliquid 6.4. So huge difference in the TVL there as well. But what's your opinion on Aster and everything I mentioned?
Yeah. What was the difference in volume? I think you just mentioned that, right?
About 1 billion. Yeah.
1 billion more on Aster or less?
Yeah, 1 billion more.
Okay,
so 880 million for Hyperliquid and 1.78 for about $900 million difference. Almost double.
Yeah. So can it sustain that volume? Are they somehow redirecting, Binance perps users to Aster? You know, is there some sort of situation? Because I mean, that's a lot, right? That's a lot of trading. And I wonder if that's the token though, because that's the token,
That's the
not
token.
okay, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay. I thought that was platform volume. I
No,
was like,
no,
oh
no.
my God. Okay. Yeah. So no shocker. You know, it's been in the spotlight. It's been the hype token recently, right? Everybody's talking about bull run play of the cycle, which I don't think it is, by the way. You know, it's definitely a strong one, and maybe it ends up being, you know, for people that end up making even more on it. But right now, it just seems to be you know, saying, hey, look, there's competition here, and we're gonna be loud and give you guys competition that maybe you didn't expect or want, but we're here for it. That's how I view Aster, and that token is definitely looking strong. The backing of it obviously is huge, but remember, what goes up must come down, right? And I think people expected it to come down a little bit earlier than it did, which it did come down a little bit, I think yesterday or maybe this morning. But people were trying to short it and losing millions of dollars like 3 days ago, right? So but already at 59, you know, ranked at 59, you got to say it's been a huge success so far.
Yeah, I still think it's undervalued. I think this is minimum, you know, a $7 to $8 billion token, and I think it gets there potentially by the end of this year. You know, Hyperliquid, I think it's going to be moving as well. I think, you know, on-chain perps is something that's going to be here, especially when number goes up on a lot of stuff here. And you know, when number goes up, you know, you're going to see a lot more people winning trades and being a lot more happier because most people long in the space, right? It seems like it's very, I don't really hear anyone ever post their short. I mean, very randomly, right? But most people do place their longs there, and, you know, Hyperliquid and Aster have huge amount of, you know, X's when it tends to leverage, right? You can go 300x leverage on Aster on some plays there. And Aster, you got to remember, also has Apple, Microsoft, and a lot of these other things that Hyperliquid does not have, right? So I think the Aster token is really undervalued still at $1.57. I think this thing should be at least, you know, $5, $6, and potentially could be $8, $9 by the end of this year. But I'm also in the camp of Hyperliquid's probably going to be $100 by the end of this year as well. So I'm also thinking that it eventually these do get attacked. But now that CZ has Aster, it gives me more reason to think that maybe Binance won't be one of the ones who try to attack a Hyperliquid, because I mean the same thing can happen to Aster.
Yeah, no, I think there's going to be enough liquidity eventually for these two giants that because I do think they are giants. But I want to go back a little bit to, like you said, number go up, because I truly think that this is very interesting, because it's not like perps dexes are new to our space. You know,
That's
you have
true.
DYDX that you mentioned pre-show. Why did that not blow up? Or GMX, like, why did that not blow up, right? And I think it has to do with, you know, the people making money and then community building, right, from Hyperliquid, right, to get into the spotlight. And then looked at, like, there's so many angles from the Hyperliquid standpoint of why they became successful. And I mentioned them earlier, you know, building the community, giving back to the community, and not dumping the price. That was huge, and it gave a lot of belief and loyalty to Hyperliquid, which is kind of, you know, in my opinion, the reason why that they've thrived so much, because there are other perps decks that we've had. And sure, you could say the UI and UX was better on Hyperliquid, but was it that much better? I don't think it was. I think it was number go up technology after giving back to the community. And then now you have Aster kind of saying, okay, well, we want some of this attention too. They did an airdrop as well. But now you have two of these really strong perps dexes kind of being the two main competitors.
Yeah, 100%. The UI for these are really good, and I think we both mentioned that the UI for DYDX and GMX was kind of shit, especially in the early days.
Yeah, GMX for sure was more the clunkier style, but it was the leader last cycle in terms of perps dex. Remember, everybody was talking about the coin going up, so it's kind of like just that GMX experience that people were talking about last cycle was just replaced by Hyperliquid times 10. Yeah. You know what I mean? So GMX had its kind of time in the spotlight, right? But yeah. So in terms of UI, yeah, it's better than GMX from the last time I used it, which was, I think, like 2023 maybe, or 2024. But I'm not sure about DYDX. I haven't used that, right? So
yeah, so and these are both deposit in systems, right? So to use Aster, to use Hyperliquid, you have to deposit USDC into these, right? That is the kind of the only way to be able to trade in here. Do you think that's the big factor of why these Perp DEXs today, Perp DEXs 2.0 are kind of better than Perp DEXs 1.0 because of the whole deposit in feature, and it kind of gives you that sniping ability of fast pace trading?
Yeah, but I think once you're in, you still have to sign your wallet, I think, on transactions though. So but it is quick.
No, because the
It
wallet's
is,
inside, right?
yeah, maybe let me see. But it is definitely quicker. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Like you can get it in and
It
out.
gives you that centralized exchange feel too, right?
You do get it. You do get that 100%. You get the centralized exchange feel. I know obviously you have to approve the transactions whenever you deposit in and withdraw. But I can't remember if you have to do it for each single trade. But even if you do, it's still really fast. You know what I mean? So that could be a part of the UX that gets people wanting to come back constantly and stuff like that. But nevertheless, look, number go up for the price of the token, and then it kind of stood alone in terms of competition until recently, and now Aster saying, look, we think we can compete with you and be even better.
100%. And Stan says Aster has Microsoft and Apple. Please dive into that. Yeah, so this is the only place I know where you can take 50x leverage on Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, even SharpLink, right? And the QQQ, which is an index fund with all the major tech companies inside. So these are some of the most traded assets in TradFi. You can come here, deposit USDC, and trade these just like you would on E-Trade and other stuff. So the only difference is there's no option plays here, but I think eventually we both agree that they're going to probably come here. But yeah, so you can trade that, and then you can also do some spot trading here as well. I know Hyperliquid has some spot trading as well, but you can, if you want to trade some of these spot and hold as well, you can do it through the site. So it's up to you. But yeah, one last thing with this, I kind of want to jump in here. So I went in here and I found out all the perps, all right? And obviously you're seeing Hyperliquid, number one, it has 13 billion in 24-hour perp volume. Aster has 3.9 perp volume on a 7-day. Aster is 10. Hyperliquid has 60 on a 30-day. Obviously Aster has 222 while it has 300. So everyone who's saying that Aster is going to beat Hyperliquid, Aster has a long way to go. 4 to 5x, 10x on a 30-day to even get close to Hyperliquid.
See, we're not even talking about Lighter, which is number 2.
I never heard of it. I know.
Yeah. So this is more about, in my opinion, about who's behind it. You know what I mean? And actually, like posing a legitimate threat to Hyperliquid in terms of taking the volume, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, because we haven't even mentioned this protocol, Lighter, but Aster's gone, and that's the power behind CZ, right? He can thrust anything into the spotlight, and that's what happened with Aster here.
And some other ones I just wanted to bring up real quick. There's Mix, right? Mix has been on a tear lately, but still nowhere near the big boys. And then you have stuff like, so Vantas is something that I keep hearing people talk about because it is on base. This is the base one, and potentially Banker is going to be using Avantis as well. It's going to be like their big once their AI is up and running, you're going to be able to do some trades with Avantis. And the other one I'm hearing about too,
DYDX is up there.
There's DYDX right there. Yeah,
they don't care about their volume.
Chains.
They're quiet and they're just like trucking along, So,
do you think that them being on Cosmos is a problem? Being one of those.
So I think we got to really think about what the perception is from their point of view as a problem. $6.97 billion in 24-hour or 30-day 30-day perp volume. I don't think they consider that a big problem. I think they consider it like, okay, we don't want to be messed with. We don't want to be thrusted in the spotlight. We want to keep doing our thing, and we're making great money from a team perspective and distribution to our investors and all these things, quietly trucking along. And I think a lot of these companies in here and protocols, they like that. The ones that like to be in the spotlight will put themselves in the spotlight. And I'm not saying Hyperliquid, Jeff, the founder of Hyperliquid, likes to be in the spotlight or anything. They got thrusted in there because I think with airdrops and stuff like that. Yeah. But if you are newer, because DYDX has been around for a while, if you are newer like Hyperliquid, you know, then you could benefit a little bit from that. But maybe he doesn't want to constantly be in the spotlight, you know what I mean? Because I can imagine that has to be pretty stressful consistently.
100%. And then you're seeing something like Drift, which is Solana Perp DEX that is apparently doing really, really well and stuff like that. So Jupiter, another one, right? That apparently is doing really well. So the Perp DEXs right now are the places to be. And that's kind of why we are partnered with Artura.finance. Artura, they're doing big things. This is their Perp DEX here, and they actually have a pre-sale going on right now. If you guys are interested in that, give us a quick refresh. So right now, the token's about 16 cents. The valuation right now is about $16 million. This is on Botonics. So if you are interested in that, I just want to bring that up real quick before we leave the Perp DEX stuff there. So, but yeah, man. Okay, so the next part of this is the crypto pullback. We kind of got into that in the beginning, so let's just jump into Arthur Hayes, what he has done over the last couple of days. So Arthur Hayes, so he actually came out with a tweet, and he said a while back that when he was in Hong Kong, he actually, more than a tweet, he got on stage and said Hyperliquid is going to pump 126x. He had this big thing up here, a Y, right? And then just yesterday, he came out and he says, this is why we dumped hype today. But don't worry, the 126x is still possible in 2028. So I read the article, and this is the breakdown of that article. It says Hyperliquid token hype faces a massive test starting on November 29th when 11.9 billion in team tokens begin vesting, 500 million a month. Current buybacks can only absorb 17% of that. So that's why I told you guys in the beginning, pay attention to this number, right? With 70% of the tokens still locked up, and a lot of them are going to the team. It looks like the team's about to get very rich if they dump. But the question is, will they dump, right? So do you think Arthur Hayes, one, pumping and dumping, and two, potential, is this a worry, do you think, for Hyperliquid?
No, I don't think so. I don't think a majority of the team's going to dump right away. I think they're going to wait for, you know, getting through this. Why would you dump right now whenever a lot of people are projecting $80 to $120 range, right, on a like bull market peak? And so doesn't mean that they're going to wait for the 120, but they could at least wait for like the 70 or the 90, right? That kind of range. It would just make more sense in my opinion. So I don't think they dump. Majority don't dump right now. That's just my opinion. But you know, he obviously has either a new opportunity, in my opinion, in mind, or that's. I didn't want to say it. You know, I mean, but you got to think about the perspective of someone that is okay. Like a 5x is great for him. Yeah. Right. So if ASTER jumps to 10 billion in peak bull and he takes like 100 million that he made, right? That's $500 million. That turns into $500 million, right? So yeah, I'm not saying he made 100 million. I'm just giving that as an example. Whatever it is, these guys, they want between 5 and 10x is a huge win for them comparative to like a 50x, 25 to 50x to the you know, everyday Web3 person.
Yeah, and he came out and he said that he made 900,000 off his hype trade, right? A little bit of that was from him pumping it in Tokyo because he got in at like $42 and got out at 49. But think about that, just a 20% gain netted him almost close to $1 million. So yeah, pretty crazy. And he did sell before the crash yesterday, so he sold it at like $57 and something, like, because it got up almost $60 over the weekend. But speaking of Arthur Hayes, the next part is he argues the U.S. is pushing stablecoins not for innovation, but to channel global demand for dollars into buying U.S. treasuries, a strategy to fund debt and tap trillions. Hayes is bullish on stablecoins, market 34 trillion market potential. I think that's, you know, very doable. Massive demand in global South, but bearish on U.S. motives. He thinks Washington is using them mainly as a tool for fund debt. I mean, of course they are. They use everything as a tool to fund debt. That's what bonds are. So I don't get what Arthur Hayes is saying here. He has to understand that, when we tokenize all the money, which we're going to do, the US will basically make its 4% on yield, right? And it'll basically give it to the banks, and the banks will make money. But like, it's one of those things where now they can issue more debt, right? As the tool, because all the bonds are being bought up at high prices. This is the flywheel effect. This is how the US is planning to get out of debt completely.
Yeah, and it's different than what has happened in all of our history, right?
There's never been an opportunity like this either, right?
Well, it's kind of switched, right? So like the opportunity's never really been for the government itself in terms of, it's books or whatever, the bottom line. It's always been for American private like banking or institutions that benefit immensely from interest and all these things, and the government's actually the one that always ends up eating all the debt. So the approach is different with this kind of new financial system, to where they're saying we're going to benefit from this as much as possible to kind of pay off the debt and actually lift treasury bonds up to give them more value, which is very much needed, as we saw the last auction that was there for bonds. No one wanted them at 4%, between 4 and 5%. They wanted them at 6 or 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this, in my opinion, is smart, but I think these kind of strategies and plans weren't so much in the open before, and so now that this is kind of it's a little bit more transparent, that this seems to be the strategy that the US is taking. People don't like that, but it's like they've been getting beat down the entire time, even though like we have the largest consumer market to kind of offset it a bit, I guess you could say. And we just really just been like stringing it along this entire time, making that debt bigger, larger the entire time, and constantly put like a big band-aid on saying that we're the largest consumer market, which we are. But that doesn't solve everything, right? That doesn't fix the debt issue. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is executed. Also, I saw a comment, I think from Stan in the chat, saying that Russia doesn't like this and China doesn't like this. They don't. They absolutely hate the fact that like the US can get ahead by eliminating their debt through crypto. And the question was, would they sabotage crypto or Web3 to hinder the US? I don't think so, because the fact that crypto is such a free market that like sure, maybe like China can really put the I guess smackdown on their own institutions that might be dealing with it, but you still have Singapore, which has a ton of like liquidity and capital, and you have Korea, South Korea, and you have a lot of other Asian countries that are still going to try to make money from this market. They can't shut the entire market off. Only thing that they can do is try to shut what they regulate off, as well as Russia. And I don't think that's going to be enough. I don't think that's going to be enough to hurt the entire industry.
Yeah, but remember when Biden sanctioned Russia to the point where China was buying oil off Russia in crypto? Like this, they used crypto to go around sanctions, right? So it's not like these countries don't understand, the big deal of why crypto is important. And it's kind of like the early days of it. They're watching the US be so like innovative when over the course of the last 4 years, we were the least innovative country. Like we barely made it by. I mean, we were trying to like, destroy AI. We were just trying to destroy crypto. We were just trying to destroy anything that we didn't understand. And now for the first time ever, we're embracing AI. We're embracing crypto. We're embracing robotics, to the point of all the other countries are like, they're finally going to catch up. And China is so far advanced in the robotics area and stuff like that, that I think they are worried about the US catching up. And this is the way for US to catch up, is to kind of tokenize all the money, which they have neglected on doing. China just started tokenizing their dollars, and the US can now take advantage of that and kind of lead somewhere where they can actually win. And that's there. And it's okay for China and Russia to kind of look at it and say, oh crap, because that's what you want. You want them to be scared. You want them to have to come in later and then kind of copy the strategy.
Well, it just makes you feel like what you're doing is right? But there's multiple different levels to kind of just smoke and mirrors and distraction, and so many things kind of behind the curtain that are probably happening, but like in plans also kind of not planning, like panning out the way maybe they expect and stuff like that. But the one thing I do feel pretty confident about is humans are greedy by nature. That's just in our nature. And there's not going to be a way that like Asia is in on digital assets. Like you can't flip it and say, even if that was the grand plan for like Russia and China or like these other like competitive world powers to kind of have crypto be this facade that was going to crush the US. It's got like, you can't do that because it's humans are greedy by nature. And because of that, you actually end up creating like businesses that are become legit in Asia and stuff like that. They're not going to stop. You know, they want to make money. So I think that the Web3 space and digital asset space, in my opinion, it's safe, as safe as can be, in my opinion. But maybe I'm wrong. Who am I?
Yeah. Okay. Jump to the next thing here. Gold reaches a new all-time high of 37.25. So it's right now, it's actually higher than that. It's at 37.32. So we're at another all-time high for gold right now. Let me actually show my chart. This chart has been, this is the weekly chart too, right? This has been the most up-only chart that I've ever seen in my entire life. This is going from October 2023 till today. This thing has just been absolutely insane. Why do you think gold's going so far up and Bitcoin's not really moving with it?
Well, I think gold has been a proven, asset for so long, and it's always been kind of the fallback, right? Whenever there's, economic uncertainty, right? And yeah, I hate to say it, but it's been the most uncertainty in the global economy for a very, very long time, decades and decades, right? I guess 2008, 2009, you could say that was huge, right? That was big, but this is on a different level because so many countries are suffering at the same time because they all went through COVID in 2020 and 2021. They all printed tons of fiat. And so the systems are kind of breaking down a bit. But that's why I think that people are kind of falling back again to gold. And you probably have, I have a feeling like China's probably buying a lot of gold, right? And so you got world powers buying gold, you got institutions probably still buying gold, and that's why I think it's rising up. But again, don't forget that Bitcoin tails gold, right? It's just a matter of time to where it starts to match the chart.
Yeah, 100%. And just taking a look at Bitcoin against it, gold's chart just more volatile, right? So it's kind of like, we've just been up only since pretty much the same time, October 2023, till now. So it is following it. It's just right now, let's just kind of see where gold was like a month ago. Gold was, in August, just sideways and down, while Bitcoin was kind of running, right? So now you're kind of seeing Bitcoin stand still and gold run.
Oh, I think we lost them.
Maybe go sideways.
I think you're good now, though. Yep.
Gold can just kind of go sideways here and before the next upward movement, but maybe Bitcoin kind of runs during this.
Yeah, I definitely think it catches up to it. We're in kind of this weird purgatory area. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now.
Okay.
I think it's on my side, but yeah.
Maybe. But we're in this weird purgatory area of like, aggressive upside and then kind of aggressive downside. So, but we always end up balancing back for the last 3 weeks. It seems like that way. But in the global M2 has kind of been really hard to rely on. I would say the last month and a half to almost 2 months. So it's kind of like, what do you look to? And I think gold is something that's been pretty consistent. And maybe we finish September off, and September is that traditional September to where it's been up and down, maybe a little bit of a downtrend. But then, we get into that Q4 officially, the last 3 months of the year, October, November, and December. And I think that's whenever we start to correlate back again to gold, Bitcoin, right? And maybe that M2 probably looks better at that point too.
Yeah. Only time will tell. Really, really hoping though we get some upward movement soon. It's been really boring here in crypto. But let's jump into the next thing here, which is crypto fear and greed. So last week we were at 51. Yesterday we were at a 48. We're a little tiny bit lower than yesterday's 48. Where do you think we are?
47.
Boom, we got it. So, man, I hate being in the 40. I mean, we are about to enter Q4 of bull market year, and we're in the 40s, bro. Like, either we have a lot of catching up to do, or we in the wrong sector at this point.
Yeah, we just have some catching up to do. It was October last year. I know it wasn't a bull run year technically, if you look at the calendar, but October was the year or the month that alt started to pick up. But this month has definitely been confusing. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah, man. All right, let's jump into the Bitcoin price action. I brought to you guys by Artura. We already mentioned their pre-sale that's going on right now. If you are interested, it is over on FJord Foundry, FJORD. Right now, let's kind of give a quick, let's kind of see where they're at. They're still at 0.16, $16 million valuation. So if you are interested, you can come here and participate. But if you guys want to check out their site, here is Artura.finance, and we are in some trades here as we speak, and we are down on all of our trades, and you know, but that's what happens. Oh, a nice Bart Simpson. I can't wait to kind of get in price action here. But the big thing about using this, right, is kind of like using Hyperliquid and Aster before, you know, the token drop, is because what you can happen is you can potentially get a free airdrop. I'm not saying you will. I'm just saying that's definitely a possibility. So if you want to come here, we do know they have a token now, and its pre-sale is today. So just getting on this list potentially can get you this token. So I am highly recommend everyone come over to Botonics, make a few trades, get on this list here, and be a part of potential the next Hyperliquid on Botonics. So be a part of that. Come hang out and play on Artura.finance today.
Absolutely excited about their TGE. Congratulations to them. Head over to their X account at Artura Finance, and you can see the link to the TGE there. But yeah, before we get into the Bitcoin price action, if you could help us out on the YouTube side, smash that like for us, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, all that good stuff. On the X side, share the space. Let's share the space, get as many people in here as possible. Hit that like as well, if you don't mind. And then same thing for the Abstract, Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. Let's get into some price action here. All right. Does not look pretty at all. I guess the setup looks okay if you see the MACD here, kind of, but it's even kind of reversing a little bit here. It looked like you could see the fast line on the MACD wanted to cross that slow line, and technically we would be in a new momentum of buy pressure, but that didn't happen. Started to curl back down, and that's where we are right now. So a lot of faking out is what it seems to be. You can see here, you know, we were pretty much sideways, right? We did have this rise up on Friday, late Friday. We went from 115, 120 to 116, 180, right? So a little bit of a jump up heading into Saturday, and then sideways with just huge dumps yesterday, and that's what really threw me off. This is kind of where we were yesterday when we did a members video of, you know, what it would look like and to finish the week off and finish the day off yesterday, and man, it just did not play out anything like I expected. I expected some push up back up, right? To open back up, but it seemed like it just wanted to be aggressive to the downside. And you see a lot of people got liquidated yesterday. It wicked down to 111,700, right? So now, what are we supposed to expect this week? Well, originally I was expecting a decent week, right? You know, I probably still expect some bounce back, right? At least maybe tomorrow. Just to kind of have the pendulum swing back to positive price action. But you know, every time I feel like that's going to happen, we get pretty hard dump. You know, we even saw this dump almost 2 weeks ago. So for today, honestly, I'm just trying to watch and see, you know, how the market is reacting, right? At some point, you got to imagine that there's going to be a lot of buying up at cheap prices. But what is cheap prices now, right? I think 111 for Bitcoin was definitely cheap prices, and you did see some of that get bought back up. I still think we're at cheap prices for Bitcoin right now, right under 113. But until we see some really strong momentum to the upside, I'm not going to really get into that bullish energy of, okay, we're going to, you know, have a bounce back week this week, right? Now, why did I think we were gonna, have some uptrend price action from last week? Because we had a rate cut, and it seemed like we were going to start a rate cut cycle, right? But one thing I have done is try to just be patient, not try to force myself to pick where Bitcoin's going to go if I don't have a strong feeling on it, right? And right now, what I'm doing is I'm just watching it, right? Trying to see, do we get some momentum, sustained momentum to the upside? But let's check and see what support and resistance looks like on the hour chart, going back to about 5 a.m. today. And you can see right here where we are at the 112,780. Support did kick in here. Right below that's balance, but okay, well, that changed. It's probably because my mouse has automatically been pushing my browser one way or the other. All right, let me see if I can get that data again. All right, let's leave it here. All right, 112,726. Okay, so this area is balanced. Above, we do have support winning in these 3 areas right here, right? So if we can push up here, showing 112,890, then it balances back out in the higher volume areas. So that's good. At least we're balanced there. We're not really losing that battle there. Then right here is showing that resistance kicks in at the 112,980. So right at the 113, we hit some resistance. So if we could get past this, though, it looks pretty good. Low volume areas. So it is kind of back and forth, but it's just I need to see more, more data that gives me stronger conviction for the next 2, 4, 6 hours, right? And right now I'm not getting that. So for now, I feel like we're gonna be in this area, try to make sure that we're not gonna drop, because below that, it does show that resistance picks back up and wins down in these areas, the 112,600 and 112,550. So really need to sustain where we are right now, 112,700. We gotta hang around there and show some strength. The 4 hours looks god awful horrible. I mean, this looks horrible for Bitcoin right here. I'm just being transparent. I mean, you can see right here. Look at this breakdown. You can see this fast line on the MACD looks like it almost wants to be straight down. The stochastics does not look good, like it wants to go to the upside. We need some really strong uptrend on that hour chart to break us out of this. It's not even cracking, though. This is what makes me feel like it's not even cracking. We're not even seeing this lighten up here a bit. So maybe we get some headlines and then we start turning this around. So wouldn't be shocked if we do lose those areas, the 112,700, and then we head a little bit further down. The daily looks like it's done on the buy pressure here, right? You can see right here, at least the momentum indicator is showing that we're done. What can change all this stuff? So as I got to the larger time frames for Bitcoin, it makes me feel more bearish. But what could change these? A headline, right? Some big headline, something like that. But we might just have a bearish first half of this week, guys. So we will see. Ethereum, same story. 4 hour looks horrible. 1 hour kind of looks like it wants to break out, but it's not showing any strong push to do that. No motivation there to do it. The daily, same situation. It's actually worse than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's daily looks like at least they were still in the buy pressure a bit, but Bitcoin could go into strong sell pressure, and this will just be a continuation on Ethereum side. So that's what I'm seeing, guys. Sorry, I don't have better news on Bitcoin and Ethereum, but it doesn't look great. But who knows? The indicators have not been helping very much, right? You can see here in the top 100, majority of this is sell downs and high sell downs, mind you. ASTER, I'm not surprised about the ASTER pullback being in double digits, because it just has run up so strong the past week. But you see WillFi down 14%, pump down 14%, bonk down 10%, double digit pullbacks. I mean, this is pretty bloody. ETH 7%. So
this is a beatdown, dude.
It's a beatdown.
They wanted it. They want to take some liquidity out of the markets for sure.
Yeah. Beat down from the feet down. That's for sure. Feet up, I should say, probably. But anyway,
I was about to say, I was like, that's ground level.
6 feet deep. No, just kidding. But yeah, it's just looking like, if you're pulled back, you're pulled back within.
Wow.
Yeah. What was Fartcoin?
It's on the second page now.
Yeah, it's on the
so
second
bad.
Page. 20%. Yeah, we do have a shining star. We're gonna have Jeff
Merl!
on. We're gonna have Jeff on here in a bit here, but Merl has been on a rager. It got to 37 cents. It's sitting right now at 32 cents. 33 cents. But yeah, MerlinChain looks like it's having a very good reception at Korea Blockchain Week. And Justin Sun's protocol up about 17%. Other than that, guys, everything's pulled back quite a bit. But don't get depressed. Don't get all sad like that. Short-term price action. And I think Myself says it best here. He says, when in doubt, zoom out. And I agree with that. You know, if
I've been zooming out for 2 years myself. I can't zoom out no more, man. You eventually zoom in, bro.
Yeah, for sure. But hey, it will, relief will come. It will come.
Yeah.
It's a weird bull run year, man. It's just a weird bull run year. I do think we get that strong finish to the year, but remember too, we're also trying to figure out like this infrastructure for this new financial system and what that looks like, and that can bring rough patches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I think it's going to be once that's smoothing out and everything starts to flow like a well-oiled machine, then I think we'll see some huge benefits long term for the space.
So you're saying don't sell everything and go all in on gold. You're saying that's kind of what you're saying.
I'm saying don't be impulsive either way. Like that's something that like I've worked on with myself. But impulsiveness creates bad decision making, and it all derives from anxiety, from greed, or feeling like you have to make a decision in this very second, and you don't have to do that all the time. Like today is a bloody day, and you probably just want to sit back and clear your mind and do something different, or maybe assess the market and learn something from it, but not be impulsive. I think that's the worst thing that people could do.
I can't learn from any more beatdowns, bro. We've been getting beat down since April 2024, right? I mean, there's only so much time now. I mean, we're going on almost a year and a half of just straight. I mean, besides November, December of last year, it's just been the worst time to be in crypto. So I mean, there's not really much you can learn anymore. If you haven't learned by now, you're never going to learn.
Well, I think try to learn about like the innovation part, right? Like how they're trying to set the groundwork for this new system. We talk about PayPal recently a lot, and stable coins and stuff like that. That's different than what we're used to. We're not used to those type of companies being in our space consistently.
100%. Let's jump into today's roll call here. Not many comments, so it should be pretty easy and quick. We got ASAP Benji is here. Shout out to ASAP Benji. He said, let's go. My friend, you have entered the sheet once again. You have your 16th win of the year. Congratulations to you. You are killing it right now. You and Tim Baker are the two people who are coming in the hardest right now. It is like he's still in first place with Webdro right there. Hasn't won since April 15th. Wow. Sitting there with 44. So pretty tight race there. Let's jump back in here. We got Tim Baker, AODR himself, my guy. Mats is here. Bitcoin is Truth is here. Shout out to you, my friend Lackey, Lukey, my guy. Ace Abstract is here. Said Merl is running. Yes, we're gonna have the CEO of Merl joining us very soon. Jeff Spindrift said, "What's up, guys?" Vader Time says it's bear market time. What if that was the top? What if 125 was the top of the cycle? $4,900 ETH was top of the cycle. What if we go into
market? I truly think that the 4-year cycle is done. I think it's done. I mean, there's going to be some things because of the halving of Bitcoin will always be a news event and stuff. But I think the way that used to work is going to be different from here.
Yeah. I agree.
Which could be a good thing.
Yep. Buenos Ideas is here. Shout out to you, my friend. Just so you guys know, anyone who puts a TK into the chat, I'm going to be taking your name and putting it on the list. And on Friday, we're going to spin the wheel and give away a ton of TK. So if you're interested in that, and also tomorrow night's show, we're going to be giving away some TK as well. So if you're interested in doing that, be a part of that tomorrow. But for right now, I'm going to grab yours. So right now, I only have a few TKs in the chat. Buenos Ideas, I'm going to add you. Glasshopper, I'm going to add you. And everyone who put TK in the chat, I'm going to add you guys for sure. Glasshopper is here. Mats is here. He says, roll call is here. TK to the moon, yes, sir. Patty Poo at the Bitcoin machine himself. I love that you're here every day, buddy. Really appreciate it. Mongoose Lab, first time here, says, OG Zero Gravity just opened yesterday. New perp. Not sure that is. I'll have to look.
Zero gravity. Yeah. I won't be shocked if
0G.
more and more pop up, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think you
know.
got to be unique somehow, though, right? And I think Artura has an opportunity. Bitcoin ecosystem, right? They got backing, investors, and stuff. But you know, we'll see how many other ones pop up, but they got to be different. They can't just be the same thing.
Look at the comment from Patty Poo. He says bear market printed.
He
yesterday.
got it.
He called it, bro. He called it. Oh, I hate that. You're right. I hate this bear market shit.
Especially with the voodoo stuff, but it's working.
So, but what's next, Patty Poo? What's next, man? That's what I want to know. Remy U is here. He says GMT Trench Kitties. Yeah, going to add you too, my friend. Stan is here. Says Putin expressed his disdain for America using crypto to clear debt. Are Russia and China and North Korea teaming up? It's like, go ahead, right? Just try. Just try, because you know what happens when that's the US usually wins in those situations. I mean, I think Brazil. What is it? What is that? It's like Brazil, Russia, BRICS. You know, BRICS has never been able to compete, so we'll see. Myself says BTC bounced off the 100 EMA on the daily. Looks like the 111K level providing decent support. I really hope so, man. Stan says Aster is Microsoft and Apple. Yeah, yep, 100%. Chief Axel is here. Joko, my guy, I appreciate you. Buenos Aires says hello, boys. Nice red Monday. Yeah, not very fun though. Mir is here. Claudia is here. Hydro Sapien is here. Claudia again says when gold dumps, get ready for alt season. I hope it comes soon, man. Number go up. Hydro Sapiens is here again. Myself says macro looks on track. We haven't even touched the 21 EMA on the weekly. Yep. Myself says when in doubt, zoom out. Losers react. Winners anticipate. Tony Robbins. Oh man, Tony Robbins is he's a cult leader. Like I don't think he's somebody to be. I don't know.
He's really successful and like.
I mean, there's a lot of cult
$100
leaders that are. But do you ever see any of his docs?
Well, I mean, his
cult,
whole
bro.
he does like all the like positive like affirmation stuff, right? Like you tell yourself all these things. But I do agree with that statement, though. You know, people that react to emotionally are, and like I'm talking about myself too. Like I've reacted emotionally to a lot of times in the market, and it never turns out good. It never turns out. It might seem like it is for a short term or something like that, but being calm is, in my opinion, the best approach you could ever take.
Claudia says retailers are out, institutions are in. Yeah, that's a problem. Claudia says TK. Yeah, we're going to be giving a TK giveaway this Friday. So anyone who puts TK in the chat, I'm going to add you to the wheel, and we're going to do a giant wheel spin. Every single day you enter, you'll get more of your name put on there. So you can get your name put on there 5 times. So you can actually win multiple times this Friday. Super fan is here. Shout out to super fan. He says zero gravity is AI focused chain, I believe. I'll have to check it out. Sounds interesting. And Eric Dallas says, what do you say about RSIC delist from OKX? I think RSIC getting delisted from OKX is a big smack in the face of the dog as well, because I don't think that they're delisting this to list any other runes. I think they're kind of delisting this to kind of get it out of runes. In my opinion, I think this is the worst thing that happened to dog is potential listing for dog kind of pushback, in my opinion, on this as well.
Yeah, I don't think it's that much of a slap in the face to dog, because I think if anything, like they should list dog instead of RuneCoin, because dog's gonna bring volume more than RuneCoin. RuneCoin was just maybe they paid for their listing in the very beginning, and they're just there's no reason to keep that on there. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. There's no volume, but at the same time, like I just can't see them delist. I've never seen a company delist something and then list something like in that sector. I don't think that happens.
What's an example of that though?
Like for instance, I know Akala was delisted from Akala it was on Polkadot. It was delisted from some of these exchanges, and that's why they're not listing Hydrate. Hydrate's not listed on any exchanges right now because a lot of the Polkadot tokens are getting delisted.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good example of what I asked you for. It'd be like when an ecosystem token doesn't get affects other tokens there. But I think dog has a strong community and stuff, but runes definitely needs something, and maybe Spark gives it a spark because you're gonna be able to bridge them over. We'll see.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's jump into our next thing here, and we are lucky enough to have the guy himself, Bitmap Tech from MerlinChain. MerlinChain, guys, has been running nonstop for like 2 days. The market went down, Merlin went up, right? And we do know this. What's going on right now is something happening in Korea. It's called the Korea Blockchain Week, and Jeff is there even before the thing. It started today, but Jeff was doing interviews the last 3 days down there and killing the interviews as well. It seems like Korea is very excited for Jeff, so let's bring him up. Let's bring up the man of the hour, Jeff. Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. Thanks so much for being here, sir.
Oh, let me unmute you.
Sorry. Hey guys, calling from Korea. What's up? And good, it's a bad day for crypto. Everyone in the events are feeling sad.
Not MERL though. The MERL holders are very, very happy.
I mean, I cannot be like happy to other people just because.
Yeah.
But I mean, in general, like nobody can survive alone, right? So definitely, hoping the market to bounce back a little bit. I think that that's normal because with the interest rate, like it's priced in, and people don't see the price, the actual price to go up. So it's normal to have a setback. But yeah.
So you think that's what's causing it is the fact that we didn't get a positive price action response to the rate cut last week?
Yeah, because for the past 10 years, when everybody was asking me, why is this, going down? My answer is pretty, simple and dumb, which is, if it's not going up, it's going down. So when we see the news, when people see the news, people sell the news, and the price is not going up, so it has to find direction. So I think for Bitcoin, for every financial asset, the direction is important. When the direction is not going up, it will go down. It will not stay at the same price for a very long time. But and also I think there was like $2 billion plus liquidation from the perp market, which is like the biggest since 2021, if I'm not wrong about this. So I think that's good because with the biggest liquidation, and it's not that bad. It's not like Bitcoin going to like 80K, right? So that just means there are too many people putting long on all these assets. So this liquidation, clearing the leverage, it must happen. Every time we see this, even though it's going up, it must to go down a little bit to do like a huge liquidation and then go up.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a great point. And there's been some talk about, CZ actually came out and said, having this transparent approach to showing all the liquidation levels, because when you trade on chain might not be the best way to approach things, because it can really crash markets, because it's obvious where majority of this liquidity lives, right, in different areas. And so then you have Aster that gets launched. So I'm just like, okay, well, that's the same thing. But do you agree with him? Do you think like the dark pools is something that can keep crypto in a more of an uptrend? And will this continually like just crack? There will be no momentum that continues to the upside because the liquidation levels are so transparent.
Yeah, I think that's a different gameplay right now. I actually know the top 1 and top 2 market maker on Hyperliquid, which they have about nearly $1 trillion trading volume for these 2 market makers. So they told me it's a different gameplay. There are lots of, like, right now the arbitrage between Hyperliquid and Binance is no brainer. If you go to Hyperliquid, see the arbitrage opportunities, there are arbitrage opportunities. It's very transparent. I was just checking account on Hyperliquid. Somebody sent me. The guy has like 10 positions, and 9 of the positions are like losing money. But the MERL position he has, he put long on 18 cents, and now he's making about $1.2 million. So this is like a good thing, to see different people's positions. So like, who is this guy? Is this guy like inside trader? Because people ask me, is that you, Jeff? I said no. Like, I don't know like the other 9 positions he was putting. Like, I don't even know those tokens. But so you'll be more transparent, and it creates different strategies for different traders. So I think that's always a better game. And I think Aster, Lighter, Hyperliquid, like all these Perps DEX will be growing. In my mind, I think it will be growing and more, and somehow it will change the whole dynamics. I think you will surpass the volume of Binance or other exchanges.
Yeah, 100%. I agree too. I think most of the trading is coming on, and like the dark pool stuff is interesting, but like I don't even know if it's possible. I mean, they got to use ZK rollups, and without being centralized, is that even possible from a tech standard?
I think everything's possible, but it just needs to be fully tested.
Gotcha.
Even though there's some bad thing happens, it's still a good thing. Like, why are we flying all the airlines right now feeling safe? Because, like sad to say that, but, because many people have died for that.
That's true. No, 100%, 100%. It's just sad news right there. But let's jump into something more exciting. So over the last couple of days, you've been super busy. You've been on a whole bunch of different podcasts and stuff like that. What was that experience like for you? And what are you saying? Because the price is running up as you're talking to these podcasts and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was a back to back interviews in a studio. I think Korean people are really passionate and interesting. They actually have all these interviews in like a big studio, like actual studio building, and it's just like back to back. Go for this one, and then you have like 2 minutes to drink water, and then go to the next one. It's actually funny experience. I was so exhausted. I'm still coughing. I'm still suffering from the Hong Kong virus, so it was really exhausting experience for me. But I think the good thing is, there's like lots of potential. Basically 90% of things I say to them, they have no idea. They have never heard about it. They don't know about this, and they are just surprised, how many progress we have. Because even in Asian or the Western, like communities, they don't know what's going on with the MERL ecosystem. So when I talk to them, I think they're very nice. They listen very carefully. They give us like really good feedbacks, and they ask deep questions. I thought it would be just like regular interviews, AMAs, but I think many of them have asked very deep questions. They are trying to figure out what is going on with the BTC5, because recently you see many projects in the Bitcoin ecosystem, not the ordinals, or ruins, but like all these, like Lombard, Pump BTC, Hemi, like all these big BTC ecosystem tokens are going up like crazily. So they have like questions, and I'm very honored because they only bring one project from the BTC ecosystem, which is us. So I answer lots of questions. I say many good things about other projects as well, because we think we are pioneers, exploring more opportunities. In general, I don't know if that's related to the price, because all these interviews are not published yet. They're still editing the videos. They're not even going to token event in Singapore, because they want to spend more time to edit the all these videos, put like huge marketing on those videos. And I think when that happens, you will give us more followers and attention from Korea as well.
Yeah. I saw on the MerlinChain X account that, you guys are excited because you saw some interest with some builders in Korea, some developers and stuff thinking about possibly building with MerlinChain. And, I think like, it's unfortunate what happened to Terra Luna, but before that incident, there was a good developer community in Korea. And so they're very talented. So is that something that you're excited about possibly coming to MerlinChain?
Yeah, because right now there are like less builders in the ecosystem, so we definitely want more, fresh blood. And I think the whole event is like going to the campus, talking to the college students. I'm very surprised. Like many of them are very passionate. We're doing that, with the Momentum, which is the Sui DEX, and also with OKX Wallet, with some other projects as well. It's surprising that their ideas actually make sense to me, because when we're like, I'm not saying they're bad builders. I'm just saying when you go to hackathon, to campus, to college students, you see many very immature ideas, right? But these people, like, they actually have like very, very mature ideas. They go deep into the tech structures and how to build this. They actually have the product. There is like a prediction market for Bitcoin and on Merlin, so they actually show the product and the smart contract. So yeah, I think more new people, and like Korean is actually like very, very, like all these people like who are following the projects are very young, and also their middle-aged guys are very interested in trading. That's what like these media people told me. So I think Korea it's a great country that a large portion of the population is actually interested in crypto, which is very rare because like in US, in China, there are many users, but the whole like proportion is not that high.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Do you like what's your opinion on the actual event itself? Is it comparable to what happens like from Vegas or like what happened like last year?
Oh, it hasn't started yet.
It starts tomorrow.
Yeah, it starts tomorrow. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, okay, is your first time at this?
No, last year we were here, and last year, I think, first you can have a general idea, which ecosystem is being hot, because last year when you go to the BTC events, there's nobody there, but when you go to the Tom ecosystem event, people are lining up on streets. People are waiting 3 hours to just get in, and it's not even like great event. It's just like party and drinks and stuff. But people are waiting 3 hours. I think last year, who was this guy? The founder of BMX? I forgot his name.
Arthur Hayes, right?
Yeah, like Arthur Hayes here, superstar, and everybody was trying to talk to me. So like last year, you can feel the temperature. Which ecosystem is hot, which is not. This year we see Sway being very hot. We see Stories being very hot. Yeah, like lots of crazy events. I saw Justin Sun is at this Story event as well. So you can basically feel what's going on. Which projects they're having huge progress, which projects they're just like not having any voice anymore. For us, we're just trying to participate as many events as we can, and trying to deliver our voice to our audience.
Exciting stuff. All right, I know you're probably exhausted, so we won't keep you too much longer, but wanted to ask you, is there anything coming up for Merlin that you wanted to hint at or maybe go over before we let you go?
Yeah. I don't have like any like main updates right now, because my mind is about tomorrow's schedule and stuff, and also I think the price is very like going ups and downs. So I think right now people just people should take some rest. The market is down. Like I always said, be like, don't be FOMO when it's up, and don't be devastated when it's down. So be patient, trying to pick the right project. I know many people, they're not following Merlin updates in the past few months, but you can definitely see the whole ecosystem have a bigger voice now. The price definitely shows how strong the community is, and I think right now it's a great time, a great pause for what's going on next, because like people like are missing chances, like the Aster thing. You guys probably are covering that as well. So people are missing chances just because are being impatient and FOMO. So for now, it's like a small pause, but what is going to happen in the next 3 months? After KBW, after token, I think many big things will happen. So just be aware, pay attention.
Love it. I love that, and that's what I've been kind of talking about today. Is don't be impulsive, be calm. Be collective. Go do something else for a little bit and come back. But I appreciate you, Jeff, and we appreciate you, OnChain Revolution, and like always, for your time every Monday. For Merlin Monday, but have safe travels back. Obviously, you have a whole week there, and try not to, get some sleep while you're there. I know Korean people, they're high energy. They'll keep you up late. So, all right. Talk to you soon.
See you guys.
Buddy. Bye. Yeah, man, absolutely awesome as always to talk to the great Jeff from MerlinChain. Something that we are lucky enough to do every single Monday. So make sure you guys tune in next week when he gets back from Korea. Let's kind of see what is happening there. So now I'm actually really looking forward to next Monday as well. But I have a few more topics to get into today. All right. So the main reason why everything is dumped is this right here: Trump's 100,000 H-1B free sparks a global race to grab talent. It's a new immigration fee. Anyone applying for the fresh H-1B visa, the U.S. work permit for skilled foreign workers in tech, science, etc., must pay $100,000 up front. Not just that, though. The markets are down because there is negotiation happening between two parties that hate each other as the government shutdown nears. The government shutdown is set for September 30th if we don't get a new budget in. What do you think, man? What do you think about these two things? Are they big enough to keep the price down, or do you think this is just an excuse to kind of push things down?
I think it's a little bit of an excuse. We've been through bigger headlines, right, in the
Yeah.
past, and Bitcoin's being able to shoulder through it. I think Jeff had some really good points about, there wasn't that strong positive reaction to the rate
True.
cut. It wasn't baked in before it, and we didn't really have too much of a buy the news event. I think we had some uptrend on Friday a little bit, but it wasn't anything that, in my opinion, that was matching energy wise to a rate cut. And so look, we had a good July for Bitcoin, June and July for Bitcoin. For Ethereum, we had a good July and August, and some of these other tokens like XRP benefited from some of that right early on, and stuff like that. So I think we're just kind of having a pause, like he mentioned, and it's okay to have a pause a little bit, right? Pause with the pullback, obviously, is what we saw today, but then we go back to myself, and that's the zoom out. Right. So one of our community members, I love his perspective a lot of the time. It's just like a really good TA perspective, but also kind of in the moment. And it is exactly what Jeff said, just different way of saying it, in my opinion.
100%. And like, it is September. No matter how bullish we want to be, we have to remember September usually sucks for crypto, right? It always has. The summer has always been shitty. August has always been tough, and September's always been terrible. And then October has been good, November has been great, and December has been even better, right? So it's one of those things where it is maybe we're trying to rush the raspberry a little bit. We're trying to force the fruit to grow, and we just got to be patient. We just got to wait for that fruit to be ready before we pick it. So it's one of those things where I think you're right here. I think we really want number to go up because we have suffered this year 9 months, last year 10 months out of the 12, and it's just been it hasn't been fun to the point of there is nobody on crypto Twitter. There is nobody really trading when the users of products are barely using anything. There's no reason to use anything. I'm not minting anything. If someone's like, yo, are you minting this? And the answer is no. I'm not minting nothing right now. I'm not doing anything right now. And that's the worst part of this is I want to do stuff in crypto, but there's nothing in it that's worth it. That's the hardest part for me.
Yeah, and I think it's an opportunity to kind of get back to your craft, right? Like and I'm not speaking to you directly. I'm talking about
this is our
audience.
craft, though.
No. So I meant that in a generalized way because
I gotcha.
What happened is, and it's not any fault of ours or even the audience, but when you go into 2025 with an administration that you're like very bullish about because they're kind to crypto, they're in favor of Web3, and so your speculation and anticipation is just you set this bar at this level, and it doesn't even really get halfway there, right? And of course, if you're holding Bitcoin and Ethereum, and if you're institutions, sure, you've had some pretty good moments this year, but if you're that 4-year cycle, regular Web3 person or someone that's even into Web3 or have had successful cycles before, it has been anything but the typical bull run year, in my opinion, except for Bitcoin and Ethereum, like I said, and some of these blue chips. And I think because of that, the perspective has just been so beat up, and like when you anticipate something, you expect something. It's almost kind of like you can even draw this down to like an everyday like situation to like, for example, like when you like, let's say your best friend, right? Like you do something nice for them, and they don't even say thank you or do anything back for you, then you might have this expectation on them that like that's messed up, you know what I mean? And so you're disappointed or whatever. And I feel like that's the kind of like our expectation was this year was going to be extremely bullish for a lot of altcoins and stuff like that. And it just hasn't hit the mark with that. I mean, if we're being quite honest, right? It has not hit the mark with the altcoin market at all. But the blue chips and some of these majors have hit some of the market, and even them, right? Like you could say Bitcoin has really hit that mark in terms of, okay, it's performed outstanding at times this year. But Ethereum even, Like, yes, it got to an all-time high, but barely, right? So I think because of that, we lose some joy in what we do. You know what I mean? And if that's hosting a show, or if that's being a part of an NFT community, or if that's just being really active on crypto Twitter, then you start to notice that like the joy has left the party, right? And so how do you get that back? I think you get that back in opportunities to where you can take a look back and change your perspective a bit and say, you know what, it's going to come. It's not going to come when we want it to come. But let me get back to having fun and why I got into this. You know what I mean? And that's something that I'm trying to get to myself.
I couldn't say it better myself. That was perfect. And you know, Raul Paul's basically saying the same thing. Patience is key to everything, and no leverage. So that's kind of what he's saying there. But there is some good news potentially tomorrow. So this guy Dennis Porter, I've actually been following for a little bit. He seems to be the inside scoop on a lot of things. 231,000 followers. He has SatoshiAction.io. It's kind of like a site for, you know, innovate, like what's happening in the Bitcoin stuff here. He has, you know, you can donate and all the different stuff they do. They volunteer. They helped with Bitcoin Beach in El Salvador and stuff like that. But anyway,
nice.
Yeah, he was a big part of it. So he said massive political news coming for Bitcoin Tuesday, which is tomorrow, that will reshape basically Bitcoin politics. This will be a defining moment. Wendy O she retweeted it. Adam Livingston, he said, "Let's go, planting the orange flag in DC." A lot of big Bitcoin accounts are following this and retweeting this, like Mike Alfred, massive pizza and wine burp just now. It's like everyone is really kind of taking this to another level. What do you think this is? Is this, you think this is real news, or do you think this is just hype?
I mean, it's got to be something, right? Some of those people lose some credibility a bit, right? If it's just so, it makes me think about the pullback yesterday and today, though. Was this intentional? Was this something that was kind of collaborative? You know, market makers know, let's bring it down before we just pump this thing up giga hard, right? You know, obviously one of the first things that comes to probably people's minds that are in the news every day is, does this mean that there's some sort of reserve or something like that? I just don't know how that could be. Is there going to be some sort of I don't know, like tax breaks that corporations get if they hold a certain amount of Bitcoin on their balance books? I don't know how that could work, because it's kind of like you're not forcing them. They don't need the tax. They don't have to take the tax break, but like you're giving them the option. And then it's kind of weird. It's like, okay, so why Bitcoin? But we know Bitcoin is, you know, something that the administration looks highly about, or, you know, on. So there's many things it could be, right? And it seems like some of these large X accounts might have insider information. No, I'm just kidding. But like, you know, they're talking like it's going to be huge. Do you have any guesses or any ideas that you think it could be?
I was talking with ChatGPT. I put all these people's tweets in there and said, what could this be? And the number one answer was the U.S. could sell down gold and buy Bitcoin. So that's one of the few ways the United States can actually purchase Bitcoin, is if they sell gold. Remember, they've owned gold since the 60s and 70s, right? When they were confiscating it off the U.S. People, they made gold illegal to hold. So this is one of those things. The U.S. has a massive amount of gold, and they're up thousands of X on their gold. There's a potential they might be going into the market and selling gold, and potentially using that money to buy Bitcoin for the reserve, that same exact reserve that they're selling the gold out of. So that is the number one thing people are saying. Another one is, you know, potential regulation, for another regulation for banks to, you know, banks to be able to do more with crypto. I don't really know. It's really hard. ChatGPT gave me a couple of different answers, but they all seem to be a little bit boring. And the only one that was exciting was potentially sell down gold to buy Bitcoin.
Do they have to get approval from Congress for that or anything?
So that goes with the Treasury Secretary. I think he has the power to sell, and Scott Bessent would have the power to sell crypto. So I mean, sell gold and buy crypto. What the Treasury can't do is they can't just print money to buy things, but they can use what they already have, from my understanding.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. Scott Besson is a very intelligent man. He's been a part of some things that probably I'm not like too fond about in the past, but it was his job. It was just his job, working for the Soros organization, trying to short the Hong Kong dollar, whatever that whole plan was. And so I feel like he's a man that plays chess, mental chess a lot, right? And so um, we're gonna see if this is something, an initiative that he's back, behind, and but I'm excited to hear what it is now. It's making me, very much anticipate this.
Yeah, I hope it comes out before tomorrow's show so that we can actually talk about it. But we'll see. Chinese Security Regulatory Commission, or the CSRC, has advised some local brokerage to pause their RWA, or real world asset tokenization business in Hong Kong. It's something that you seem to be kind of concerned about. I don't think it's too big of a deal. To me, it's just kind of like, hey, let's make sure we have the proper regulations that's going on with this. Very similar to what the last administration did every day, right? They were like, hey, pause this, pause this. And now, but you are seeing China tell Hong Kong, say, hey, relax on this. Maybe this isn't the time. But it does feel like China is losing the battle in crypto to the US, and will continue to do that unless they, figure something out here.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if it has to do with making sure that there isn't, like all these synthetic, versions of these RWAs that can't be trackable, right? And people make money and not, the mainland not get their taxation, right? Maybe it's that. Maybe it's trying to intimidate the market. But I will give you this, that for the most part, it's just optics, right? Like that's what it is for the most part for China. Whenever they talk about, crypto, like bans or mining issues or this or that, it doesn't last consistently. It's constant, like seesawing back and forth on it. So I think that's why probably some people don't take it as serious. But with the RWA situation, I love to hear the reasoning behind it. That's something that we need to have, that reasoning to I guess really assess how much this could affect the market over there.
That's something China that doesn't do. They don't give you reasons, right? They do first, and you can figure it out later. But we'll see. Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin has finally addressed some concerns over the lengthening Ethereum staking exit queue, which has grown to 45 days. So obviously, the more people that want to get out, the longer it is, right? Because so it's going to keep backing up. But then you do have Ethereum going in. And he said this, he says originally that he is for that, right? He is for a long withdrawal. That's what you get, right? You can earn the 6% yield, but you're locked in. You have to have a long-term mindset for that, right? So I'm actually okay with the 45-day lock. I mean, when I was using stuff like Polkadot and Cosmos, when I was staking there, it was 30-day locks, and I was the same way. And that's what you get for earning the yield. You have to be a long-term holder. You have to have a long-term mindset on these tokens. What they don't want you to do is the price to go up, and then you immediately withdraw it, sell it, and then that kind of messes up the amount that you need stake to run the network. Proof of stake is different than proof of work in the sense that you need stake tokens to run these validators, and that is another reason why this is for. But he finally came out and said it could be an issue in the future, and then he's working on a solution to this. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, what was it originally? 30?
It was originally like 2 weeks, 14. But so you enter a queue though. So as more people enter the queue, the longer the wait. So if the queue's already 45 days, the next person gets in, it might be 46 days. Or there's only so much Ethereum can leave per day.
Oh, I got what you're saying. So it's just basically it's ramped up to where it is now, which is 45 days.
Which is 45 days minimum. So it could even be longer depending on who joins you.
Gotcha. But there's no like black and white, basically, is what you're saying. They're kind of like
there's
some of these people.
Certain amount of withdrawal each day. And if you're not in the queue, you don't withdraw that day.
Gotcha. But that's how many people loaded up.
Well,
That's
some
what
of these people have
created.
been in since 2020. November 2020 is when you can originally start putting your Ethereum for stake. It didn't fully do the crawl changeover from proof of work to proof of stake until 2022. But I mean, we're talking 5 years. Some people have been staking.
Yeah, I wonder how much pushback they're getting though. Are you hearing a lot or?
It's mainly from the news sources, just kind of
Yeah,
like
creating a
complaining
story.
about it. But yeah, it's so like SharpLink is putting their Ethereum in every day. Like every new
Yeah,
Ethereum
they
they
don't
buy, they're
care.
putting in because they have long-term mindset, right? What's 45 days when you're holding for 5 years, right? You know what I mean? So some of these guys are like, whatever, you know, we don't care. But but that's the thing too, is that if you did want to stake, you can go to Lido and get 4% and have a liquid version of that, right? So you don't have to stake if you don't want to. Like no one's forcing you to stake, but hey, if you want 6% instead of the 4%, then you might want to stake, right? But you have to deal with this. But the staked Ethereum is what keeps the network going, right? This is their hash rate. The more Ethereum that's staked, the stronger the network.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, everybody knows kind of how it works, you know. Or so I don't think there's going to be too much pushback from it. Like you said, you wouldn't be tripping about it. It's kind of just the rules of the game, I guess you could say, right?
I mean, you're getting 6% for nothing for depositing, right?
And
I
it's
mean,
it's
this
one of
is
the safest 6% that you'll get in our space.
you'll
So
ever get because it's guaranteed. The price of Ethereum isn't guaranteed, but the amount you'll get is guaranteed.
yeah,
Unless you try to mess up the network and you get slashed. But that's
That's your
you
fault.
making a mistake.
Yeah.
You ready for some DAT news? So
DAT.
digitally asset treasury. So there's a lot going on with this. So I just put it all in one sector and we'll just knock it out right here. Strategy has acquired 850 Bitcoin worth $97 million at a price of 117,000. Pretty crazy. They bought it seemed like the local high. Strategy now holds 639,000, almost 640,000, acquired for 47.33 billion. So that is almost double. The value of that right now is 73,000 per Bitcoin. So I'm sorry.
Not almost
Acquired
double.
for 47,000, and the average price of their Bitcoin is 73,000. So I misunderstood that.
Yeah.
So they have 47 billion, and their average price is 73,000. Bitmine Immersion, this is Tom Lee's company, announced that it had acquired an additional 264,000 ETH, bringing its total holdings to ETH to 2.4 million tokens, which represents 2% of the total ETH network supply.
Woo!
Metaplanet comes in and buys 5,419 Bitcoin, worth 632 million, now the fifth largest Bitcoin treasury in the world. And finishing it all off with NASDAQ-listed CEA Industries filed a S3 to raise 500 million via PIPE to expand BNB holdings, and then Strive announced all-stock merger with Semler Scientific Incorporated, SMLR. Strive also purchased 5,816 Bitcoin, an average price of 116,000 each. So these guys are buying at local highs. They're top blasting pretty much, and they don't care. What do you think about? I mean, I just read you about probably around, I don't know, $4 or $5 billion that bought crypto last week when prices were, $4,500 for ETH, 115, 116, 117,000 for Bitcoin. The big boys, the whales are buying, bro. Whales are buying, and they do not care what price they're getting at.
Yeah, Bitcoin, and then you have the one Ethereum there with Tom Lee's company. But yeah, look, they don't care. This has been the strategy the entire time, though, right? I mean, obviously, if they can take advantage of some price action, they will. But it's kind of like, okay, this is what we do, and we're just going to keep stacking this up. And I mean, I just calculated, I think like Tom Lee, this company is $9.6 billion worth of Ethereum, right? So that's a ton of Ethereum there. And it's going to be interesting to see once we get down further. Well, they did talk about BNB in the one that you had, but once we get further down the risk curve for this kind of stuff, and how far does it go? Like, where does it stop? Does it get degenerate? I don't know. But yeah, this is bullish for long term, and that's why I'm in the space, is for the long term, benefits of being here early.
100%, 100%. And the last thing I have here is obviously we talked to Jeff about it, but just want to give you guys, reminder. This week is Korean blockchain week. So as we're sleeping in the middle of the night, you might see some really bullish stuff because remember we are about 12 hours apart. Or yeah, so when we're sleeping, they're waking up. When they're going to bed, like Jeff is, we're just getting started, right? So I'm actually expecting huge announcements coming in here. I mean, I did a little bit of research, and some of the bigger players in the space are heading down here to talk. There's a bunch of surprise guests as well. Last year, like he said, was Arthur Hayes and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see who's going to be down there in Korea. Killing it. Do you know if it's summer or winter right now in Korea? Because that was the one thing I was kind of curious about.
It's similar. It's similar to where we are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But yeah, I'm gonna try to make that next year. I do have family in Korea, and so would like to kind of see them. I mean, I'm gonna be like, well, I'm there for business, but no, but I bet you it's super fun too. I mean, great food in Korea and great times there. So if you are there, you want to say what's up to Merlin and them, just go by their booth and say what's up. Jeff, awesome guy. His team is awesome as well. Got Jonathan, Joe, all those guys. So exciting times.
Yup. And that's our show, guys. 268 people here on this boring day. I really appreciate every single one of you guys, man. Really, really amazing. We'll, like I said, we're here every single day. So make sure you guys tune in each and every day.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. All of you guys. Without you guys, we couldn't do this. But also without our partners, we couldn't do it. So if you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to swap for Bitcoin runes or alkanes, and very, very soon, Spark Bitcoin tokens, then you got to do it with Sats Terminal. They are an aggregator, so they're going to find the most liquid and best prices for you guys for these tokens. Also, you can earn Amber points, and Amber points are an XP point system that are going to go towards give back for early adopters of the platform. They also have a borrowing and lending product that should be available tomorrow in their beta version, but we will get with their team and see if that's still on schedule. But head over to satsterminal.com and learn more there. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to jump your Bitcoin ordinals or Bitcoin NFTs like counterparty NFTs, rare Pepes, those sort of things, you can do so by using Emblem Vault. You can jump them to Ethereum. You can take a loan out right now against your Taproot Wizard on the Gandhi application, which is the largest NFT borrowing and lending application on Ethereum. So make sure you do that. They're also going to open up to other chains like Arbitrum, Base, Abstract, and possibly Merlin Bitcoin Layer 2, right? I do know Solana is on that roadmap as well. And speaking of Solana, they have the best AI product in the Solana ecosystem called Agent Hustle. Agent Hustle is an AI product that you can use to guide you through Solana's ecosystem. You can say, hey, find me 2 or 3 safe 5x to 10x plays in the Solana ecosystem, and Hustle will find you those options and tell you why he thinks those are good plays. Also, you can use them for conditional trading. Conditional trading is, setting a trade, a buy or limit order with Hustle. He'll execute those based on your parameters, right? And so you can go to the gym, you can go to the grocery store. He'll take care of it for you on your behalf. There's going to be more and more features added to Hustle as it's an ongoing innovative product. There are subscription levels to Hustle, so there is a free version, but you are limited with some of the tool sets there. But you can get into the paid subscription levels, and you can get more and more tool sets. If you use the Hustle token, which is the token that powers the entire Emblem ecosystem, you can get a discount by using that. There also is another product within the ecosystem called migrate.fun. And if you launch the token on pump.fun or another launchpad and you want to migrate to another launchpad within Solana, that will help you get that liquidity that's locked out of there. But you do have to get your community on board with that. So they will guide you through the process of that whole situation. They should be, launching their first cohort very, very soon. So make sure you pay attention to that. Super exciting stuff. The Hustle token, like I mentioned, powers their entire ecosystem. And they're going to be using revenues from migrate.fun and Emblem to do buybacks as well. So make sure you're following them on X so you can learn more about that as well. Head over to emblem.vision to learn more there. And then Artura.finance is the perps and levers DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Perps and levers DEX are hot right now, and Artura just launched not long ago. So if you want to get into Artura, you have an opportunity. They actually have their IDO right now. If you go to x.com and search Artura.finance, or Artura Finance is their tag, you can actually be a part of that. There's a link on their X account there. But yeah, Artura is going to be innovating the Bitcoin ecosystem. They're going to be adding synthetic Bitcoin fungible tokens like Doggo to the Moon, $1 Billion Cat, already Sats, and possibly some of these Spark tokens that you can trade directly on their platform. They're also going to be adding synthetic derivatives, kind of like what Aster did, but they're going to be doing MicroStrategy, Coinbase, stuff like that. So super exciting stuff from that team to have those unique assets to make tradable, right? Right now, they have a trading competition on their platform. If you go to Artura.finance, you can participate. The competition isn't too steep right now. I think the top number one spot is like 500 to 600 P&L, so you can definitely catch up. But there is a leaderboard there, so you can see kind of what the competition looks like there. The first place will win 5,000 USDC, and then another 5,000 USDC will be split amongst the rest of the winners. So make sure you're paying attention to that. You can also earn points on their platform and the Botanics Bitcoin Layer 2, as that's where they're live right now. Botanics is tracking transactions on their blockchain as well. And look out for other ecosystem or environments that they're going to be launching on in the near future as well. Head over to Artura.finance to learn more today. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet that's building for the best UI and UX for all their users. They support 3 different ecosystems: Bitcoin, Cardano, and Sui. You can trade for Bitcoin runes, you can trade for Cardano tokens or Sui tokens, as they partnered with DEX aggregator swaps and all those ecosystems there. You can also purchase their token, which powers their ecosystem, called the Toke token. You can stake it. They have staking options within their application directly there. This team is all about innovation. They have multiple products that they're going to be releasing in the future. Also, you know, expect other ecosystems as well, environments to be added to their wallet as well. You can find a YouTube alpha section where you'll find our channel as well as other YouTubers in that section as well. Head over to Tokyo.io to learn more, and make sure you join the Tokyo show, which is the BTC Zone, co-hosted by us every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 p.m. UTC. Head over to Tokyo.io to learn more. And then MerlinChain is uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of AI. They have their Wizard 2.0 that you can utilize right now to do cross-chain swaps. All you got to have is Merlin Bitcoin in your wallet, and you can swap for Solana tokens. You can swap for Fartcoin. You can swap for the newest Solana token. You can swap for any Solana token. You can swap for BNB tokens as well. Whatever is hot in demand, the Wizard can do on your behalf. So super awesome. The Wizard can also do DeFi functions for you on MerlinChain, like staking and swapping. And speaking of staking, they have a proof of stake security network for MerlinChain, and you can participate in it. The first option is staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. Everybody loves this product, including $55 million worth of institutional investment. And so they are definitely really hot right now. It's probably part of the reason why their coin is getting a lot of attention. But you can earn 16% APR on average by staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin on MerlinChain there. This vault closes in 8 days, guys. So not too much time for you to earn, but I'm sure they're going to open another Bitcoin staking vault because, like I mentioned, this is a hot product here. There's 2 other options to stake, and they are staking MerlinChain tokens. The first one is the flexible day-to-day. You earn 15% APR, but you can claim your Merlin rewards, your MerlinChain rewards daily. You can roll those into a compound interest type of strategy, but that's up to you. If you do want to withdraw after you start the staking vault, though, it does take 7 days, as that is kind of the cooldown protocol for MerlinChain. And then the last option is a 6-month lockup option, but you earn 45% APR. So pretty large APR there. You can claim those rewards daily as well, but it is locked up for 6 days or 6 months, I should say. So make sure you know that before you participate. But yeah, that's MerlinChain for you guys. MerlinChain.io. They are at Korea Blockchain Week. Like I said, really friendly team. If you want to go say what's up, swing by their booth. This team is constantly adding new updates and making the right moves. I'll tell you that. I'm super confident in what their future looks like. Head over to merlinchain.io to learn more there. And lastly is our guys from Ordinal Hive. Ordinal Hive is the fastest ordinal marketplace in the entire industry. If you buy an ordinal NFT, you'll get it right away once you buy it. If you sell it, I think it takes 1 block to get that Bitcoin, but they're trying to get that to you right away as well. They have a ordinal collection that they minted out about 2.5-3 weeks ago that has about 70% staked on Stake It. So their community really believes in them for sure. They also have updates coming out soon about their Hive token. So make sure you're following them on X so you can get those updates. And remember, they have amazing trading tools within their platform, like live mempool insights. So you can grab something that was accidentally mispriced before they can correct it. And, that's their fault for mispricing it, but you can take advantage of that. If you head over to ordinalhive.io. We thank you guys so much for checking out our partners. It means a ton to us. Thank you guys so much.
Yep. Great job, man. As always, you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out onchainrevolution.io. We have some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel we can help them get started and code up to where we are today. Make sure you guys check out this new one. It's all about USDC settled Bitcoin options Deribit. We have so many different articles here. Check them all out, from Spark to pretty much everything. We've covered everything in this space, and you guys can find out everything in like 2 or 3 minute reads. Check them all out here. And if you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend NordVPN. I use it each and every single day. I locked it in for 2 years at $3 a month. Lock it in, set it, forget it, be done with it. Now you can use things like Hyperliquid. Now you can use things like MEXC, something that geo-blocks you because of your location. But hey, it's not your country doing it. It's the site itself. So you guys can use these sites, any site in the world that you have access to with the VPN. Highly recommend you guys get it, and make sure you guys aren't paying $11.59. Make sure you guys are paying the $3.09 through our website, onchainrevolution.io. And we got our merch store. I recently added some merch over the weekend. If you kind of go up here and you just go to some hoodies and stuff like that, we got these Ethereum and Bitcoin hoodies. I don't know why. I was feeling maroon, so I created a couple maroon hoodies. I actually think this one is fire with the maroon and silver, and this Bitcoin one too. But I'm gonna be adding some more stuff here as well. I sat down to create some hoodies, and I ended up just making maroon ones. I don't know what the hell I was doing over the weekend, but that's kind of what I do. But I'm going to be making some more here. If you want me to add anything, just let me know. But if you see me out in the street, I'm going to be rocking a maroon hoodie this winter. How do you feel about maroon? Are you a fan of the maroon?
Depends. I think it depends on like what the logo is. I kind of like that Solana one actually.
Doesn't it? Solana one's dope, dude. I like that one too.
Yeah.
So, but I'm gonna put them on other colors as well. This certain hoodie though, they only had the one color, so I gotta actually go to the other one. That's kind of the reason why I was doing a maroon anyway. But you got Trench Kitty hoodies. We are all Satoshi Nakamoto. It's hoodie season, guys, especially here in Philly. We're starting to get a little cold here, so if you guys are interested in getting yourself a dog hoodie or even a Billy hoodie, we have everything here. Gizmo right there as well. Check it all out here at onchainrevolution.io. Remember, guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys, and until tomorrow,
peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin controlling. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.